Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at something so profoundly ordinary, so utterly commonplace, that it's probably sitting in your refrigerator right at this very moment. Yep, a simple, everyday egg. We crack them for breakfast, we bake with them, we take them completely for granted. Well, until we accidentally drop a carton on the grocery store floor, right? But in our analysis of the source material today, we're going to look way past that mundane surface. We are exploring the hidden, honestly almost unbelievable brilliance of the eggshell.
Let's kick things off with a pretty wild paradox. 100 kilograms. That is, roughly 220 pounds. Now, when we're cooking in the kitchen, an egg feels incredibly delicate. A slight, kind of clumsy tap on the counter and boom, it shatters into a messy disaster. But get this. Out in the wild, a 100-kilogram ostrich can sit directly on its egg, placing literally all of that massive weight right on top of it, and the egg doesn't even crack. It perfectly supports the load. So how in the world can something be so wonderfully fragile and so incredibly strong at the exact same time? Section 1. Incredibly designed ordinary object. The mystery hidden in plain sight. This really highlights the cognitive dissonance we're dealing with here. On one hand, we have the fragile kitchen egg we all know. One slip of the hand and it's a total mess. But contrast that with the unbreakable ostrich egg, just casually supporting immense weight. We're kind of forced to ask, is the shell inherently weak, or is it fundamentally strong? Well, the answer, as researchers have discovered, is actually both. And understanding why takes us straight into the realm of advanced biological engineering.
Section 2. Eggshell through science's eyes. What the experts say. Okay, let's dive into this. Listen to this incredible insight from Professor Mark McKee at McGill University. He told The Guardian, and I quote, "Everyone thinks eggshells are fragile. In fact, relative to their thinness, they're extremely strong, harder than some metals." I mean, really think about that for a second. Harder than some metals. A leading expert is completely flipping our everyday assumptions about fragility right on their head. Relative to how incredibly thin that shell is, its structural strength is absolutely off the charts. So the real secret here is how the shell handles the physics of pressure. As Professor Tom McKee from the University of California found, it all comes down to uniform pressure. An eggshell is fragile when you strike it in just one direction, like, when you tap it on the sharp edge of a frying pan. But if pressure is applied equally from all sides, it is virtually unbreakable. Its domed, arch-like geometry distributes the weight perfectly. If you try to squeeze an egg evenly in the palm of your hand, you literally cannot crush it. No way.
Section 3. Flawless life support system. More than just a shell.
Research by Professor Paul Ehrlich at Stanford University and his colleagues reveals that the egg isn't just a container, it's a highly advanced life support system. And a massive part of that system is the cuticle. This is an invisible protein layer on the outside of the shell that acts like a magical biological force field. It strictly blocks harmful bacteria from getting inside, but at the exact same time, it allows life-giving oxygen to pass right through. It's a highly selective, microscopic filter, and it does all this without a single moving part. And here's the practical, real-world result of that barrier. The egg stays completely fresh for weeks at room temperature, just as long as that cuticle barrier remains intact. This bit of biological engineering is the exact reason why an egg can survive out in the wild without refrigeration or even just sitting on your counter, provided this invisible layer hasn't been washed away. It's essentially a self-contained long-term survival capsule. Now, what's really interesting here is the microscopic architecture actually building this capsule. Meet osteopontin. Professor McKee's research shows that this specific protein forms a nanoscaffold. It essentially directs the complex arrangement of the calcium minerals. Think of it like a microscopic construction foreman. It lays out a precise scaffolding that tells the calcium exactly where to go and how to stack together to build that incredibly strong shell structure from the ground up. Section 4. Simultaneous harmony of opposites, the engineering paradox. Consider the stark contrast here for a minute. The shell absolutely must block bacteria to prevent infection and rot, right? But it also has to allow oxygen in so the developing chick can breathe. These are two completely opposing biological necessities, and they exist simultaneously in a shell that's just a millimeter thin. It's a sheer absurdity when you think about it from a basic design perspective. A wall that perfectly seals things out while perfectly letting things in. And the paradox actually deepens. It has to be incredibly strong on the outside to support an ostrich, but weak on the inside because a tiny, delicate baby chick needs to peck its way out. The source material highlights that the internal nanoscaffold we just talked about intentionally weakens right before hatching, so the outside looks identical. It's still strong, but the inside becomes fragile. It's a dynamic, changing system that adjusts its very structural integrity exactly when the chick needs it to.
So, when we look at all these finely tuned, contradictory mechanics operating in total harmony, the source text pivots from hard science to a profound philosophical inquiry. It asks a really simple question. Did this complex design form entirely on its own? It's a pivotal question that naturally arises when you lay out the sheer mechanical genius of this ordinary object.
Section 5. Who is the architect of this design? The ultimate philosophical question.
The text brilliantly frames the egg's functionality as the ultimate engineering problem. Look at the challenge here. Step 1. Combine two contradictory traits in a single environment. Step 2. Build a material that is simultaneously strong and breathable. Step 3. Design a structure that is highly protective from outside forces, yet easily openable from the inside. Human engineers strive, struggle, and spend literally billions of dollars trying to solve material challenges exactly like this for modern tech. Yet the eggshell has been executing this flawless, paradoxical engineering for millions of years. The source expresses a deep sense of awe here. Nature has just effortlessly maintained this technological perfection over deep time, completely bypassing the struggles and limitations of human engineering. To ponder the ultimate architect behind this flawless nanoskeleton and that magical cuticle barrier, the source text turns to a profound verse from the Quran. Specifically Al-Waqiah, verses 58 and 59. It reads, "Have you considered what you emit? Is it you who creates it, or are we the creator?" The author uses this text to really invite the reader to look past the surface, to deeply question the origin of such deliberate, perfectly balanced, and paradoxical design. So considering the bacteria-blocking, oxygen-breathing layers, the dynamically weakening nanoscaffold, and the unbelievable weight-bearing geometry, the source leaves us with one final lingering question. Who is the creator? The next time you head to your kitchen to make breakfast, you just might look at that simple, ordinary egg a little differently. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.